everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, hi, David. Hi, Martina. Hi, Ricardo. Hello, hello. Hi, Cynthia. Hello. And thanks a lot for being patient, everyone. We were facing a little technical snag in the start, but yeah, we are all good now. So thanks a lot for being patient. Okay, let's get started then. Welcome back to the ADPList and Notion original series on personal productivity and knowledge management. I'm Utkarsh, Global Expansion Lead at ADPList, and I'm your host for tonight. Just like the last sessions, let's get started by rating our own Notion skills. And you already know the drill. Let's get started by rating ourselves from 1 to 5, where 1 is if you're very new to Notion, and 5 is if you feel like a pro. And I believe since we're now towards the end, my heart says that we might actually see good numbers this time, but yeah, let's see what people rate themselves. And by the way, just in case if you have missed any of the previous sessions, you can always have a look at the recordings. You just need to click on the schedule button on the top. When you go inside, you'll be able to locate any of the sessions and just click on watch replay. You'll be able to see the sessions. The recordings are available just after the live session ends. So even after the today's session, you'll be able to see the recording for this one. Okay, I can see some positive numbers. So yeah, that's really motivating even for me, and I believe for Roxana as well, even after the last session. So thanks a lot, everyone. So today we are going to wrap up the series, and for the last session, we have Roxana with us. In case you missed the last session because of your if you were celebrating Thanksgiving or something else, here's a quick intro about her. Roxana is a designer, illustrator, and certified Notion consultant. She is also the founder of NotionFlows, a digital consulting agency that assists global companies in optimizing their digital workspaces and workflows through usage of different tools like Notion, Make.com, Slack, and others. Her goal is to empower clients in cultivating a positive company culture, emphasizing transparency, collaboration, and employment engagement through digital solutions. So please help me welcome Roxana on the stage, and here we go.
Hi, everyone. So, thank you for joining us on this last session. So, I'm really excited to start the session. And just before we start, I did a presentation 2 days ago, and I read the comments, and it seems like my presentation wasn't available. So, I turned the sharing session on the Notion page. So, the people that saw my presentation 2 days ago, they can go in the template and you should be able to have my presentation. So, all right. Now that is done, let's get started with today's session. And it's going to be the final session. And as always, I'm going to be doing my presentation in Notion. And today, I'm not going to be building a lot. I'm going to be going over my personal knowledge management and my uh, business knowledge management, so you can get a few ideas the different type of knowledge management. All right, so we're gonna go over understanding personal knowledge management and its importance, collaborate in sharing knowledge using Notion, how to develop action plan for continued productivity and knowledge management, and lastly, I'll be showing a couple of example of knowledge management. So thank you for the introduction, Utrash. Um, just for a quick intro, my name is Roxana Rodriguez, a designer, illustrator, and also a Notion certified consultant. And also, I'm the founder of NotionFlow, which is a digital agency that helps business with Notion, creating Notion workspaces, websites, animation, automation, and so forth. All right, so let's start with knowledge management. So we live in a time where there's a lot of information easily available, and the real challenge is not getting the information, but rather management the information and organizing it well. So I think most people can relate to this. Like nowadays, you have so much information going from different channels all over the place every day that you are bombarded with information. And what we want to accomplish with the session is kind of giving you some tips and tricks on how to go from here to here, which is how you manage that information, how you organize it. And how you do that is by building a well structured personal knowledge management. Now, a personal knowledge management is a way of handling information that is tailored to what you need and like. And it's more than sorting your digital files. It's more about smartly management information and learning how to use it effectively. So it's not just about picking whatever you find on the internet and paste it in a Notion single page and forgetting about it. It's more about finding the things that you like, categorizing it away, and making use for it later on. So, why is a personal knowledge management important? There's a couple of reasons. One, it helps you with your learning and grow. So, when you actively manage your knowledge, it helps you learn and remember information better. And it also helps you grow personally and I think also professionally. uh, with creativity and innovation. So it helps you link different bits of information, sparking new ideas um, and thoughts. We will get the link to the presentation. Yes, this is the link to the presentation, and I think you can. Yeah, yeah, it's available. You guys can duplicate it to your Notion template workspace. Okay, so why is personal knowledge management important? Because it also empowers you. So you rely less on outside system for information, and you become more self-sufficient and empowered. So for knowledge management, so personal knowledge management, I have a couple of tips on how to do it. The first one is embrace comprehends capture. So collect and save valuable information, but only the information that you like from articles, YouTube videos, ideas, quotes, podcasts, everything. But try to only capture the things that speak to you that you think you will use it later in the future. The goal is to have this information in one single place, preferably Notion, because we're going to be talking about this and how to use it in Notion. The second one is prioritize intuitive organization. So your personal knowledge management system should be set up in a way that is easy for you to understand. It should match how you think and how you find information, whatever that's through topics, categories, folders, or tag. It doesn't matter how you organize it. You should have like a defined system that you are comfortable with and stick to that. And um, having a personal knowledge management should be easy for you to search. So having Notion, if you use that for your personal knowledge management, is quite easy because Notion you have the ability to press Command P, and and Notion you have like quickly find the information that you're looking for. And another tip is that you should commit to continuous update and review. So just because you put the information inside a Notion database, preferably not a single page, you should be able to keep updating on this information and don't just leave it there. So what most people do is that they gather a lot of information that some of them they found valuable, some of them they don't find valuable, and just store it in a database, and they don't review it, they don't interact with it on a later point, which is not ideal if you want to actually take advantage of the information. The second tip is five over here is stay true to your own needs. So then don't let other people influence your personal knowledge management too much. It should be tailored to you. So I think the reason that I like Notion for knowledge management is because you can create your own system, and you can create it based on inspiration from a couple of um, people. So when I started Notion, one thing that I really liked was the ability to create my own workspace. So what I did was I look at went into YouTube and I look a couple of YouTube videos from different people, and I was extracting just a couple of things that I like from each video. I didn't take their whole system. I just took the parts that I really liked, and based on that, I created my own knowledge management system. And also, don't aim to be perfect. So a perfect personal knowledge management system doesn't exist. Your system should be flexible and adapt to your changing needs, because as you grow, your knowledge also has to grow and has to change. And I think the lastly is it's really basic. It just starts simple. So begin with notes and topics that interest you, and let it evolve with you. So in Notion, you have the ability just to create a normal database and add your notes, make a tag, select property, and start doing that. So it's really easy to start. So don't be, like I said over here, don't aim for perfection. Just start, and over time, you will see what are things that you don't like in your personal knowledge management and what are things that you like. All right. So now, now we went over what is personal knowledge management, some tips and tricks. Now I'm gonna show you a couple of examples of them in Notion. And to start, see, I'm gonna begin over here with a page that I have. And this page over here is the different types of knowledge management example that I have in my Notion currently. So the first one, and I'm gonna explain why I also do it in databases, and also why it's important to define how you're gonna be using your knowledge management and the properties that you're gonna be using. So over here, you will see an example that we did 2 days ago. Sorry, 2 days ago we did this. And over here, 2 days ago, we made a note taking system, which you can use it to just to start using for your personal knowledge management. It's a quick two databases. And this database, the first one was a tag database where you can have like the topics that you wanted, and the other one was a note database where you add all the notes that you were gathering or you were creating. And as you can see over here, it was very straightforward. It was very simple. In the tag database, you just have like a checkbox or your favorite, so you can pin it on top. The notebook, so a relation property to this database, and then a roll up just telling me how many notebooks are in each of these categories. And then below you had the note database, which had a couple of more properties. So for example, the status, if I want to archive it, what type of note it was. So if a meeting, reference, book, idea, etc. A URL, the last edited time, and then the tags over here, and to pin it. So it was very straightforward. It was like this. Later on, we're gonna go over if there's enough time. But you can start with this, very simple. Then I want to show you my personal knowledge management, which we're gonna go over as well. So over here you can see for my personal knowledge management that I created three databases. One is called Level Up, which you can, since you're using databases and using Notion, you can name the database however you want. And I name my databases like this because I try to gamify my knowledge management space in Notion. So uh, Is my audio bad? Okay, I think it's good now. So I'm just gonna continue. All right. So for my personal knowledge management, as I was saying, I wanted to gamify my space in Notion. So what I did is I liked a game called Maple Story, which I'm a huge fan of it. Since I was a kid, I used to play it all the time. So what I did is I just made like my Notion space related to that game for me. And this is I'm gonna be showing you later on this space. So that's why I name my databases differently. So instead of tag, which is something very basic, I just added like leveling up. Um, and this is similar to the tag over here. So over here. And since this is my personal database for knowledge management, I created other properties for me because it's tailored to my needs. So, for example, here I have the database, of course, there are is below. I have here like a section. So, what type of level up skills it is? If it's a skill, software, subject, etc. Um, if I'm good at this type of skills or not. And this is for um, uh, to see like what category I want to study or want to keep in my Notion on top to stay focused on the category that I want to study. And I'm gonna show you how this worked later on when I go to my personal space. But over here, you can see that I have other properties that are were tailored to my needs. So when you're building your own personal knowledge management, you can pick like what are the properties that you're gonna be creating and what's the purpose of them. So try to be very intentional. So don't create properties just out of nowhere because then you're gonna have a lot and it's gonna be overwhelmed. So you have to think about it and how you're gonna be using it. I'm gonna explain later how this is being used in my space. And then over here, I have like instead of my notes database similar to the ones I built 2 days ago, I just renaming it for tips and tricks. And here you can see other properties that I created based on my needs. And so I went a little further in my personal knowledge management, and I created like a course because I take a couple of courses. And this database over here is related to my um, tagging, you can say. So I can see what code is related to which category over here. And these are the properties that I wanted to create just to keep tags of my courses and other relevant information that I wanted. And later on, I'm gonna show you a difference. So I have my personal knowledge management system, and this is how I structure it. And later on, I'm gonna show you my company knowledge management. And my company knowledge management, I only use one database, and it's a combination between tags and notes. And later on, I'm gonna show you how I built it, so how it's structured in my workspace, which is something similar to this. And over here, just for you to get a glimpse, all the properties that I built just to create this knowledge management system in my workspace for my company. So again, the properties are quite different. So over here, you have like the owner, collab, groups, and other sorts of things that I use just to filter this information across my workspace. So as you can see, your knowledge management, you can take inspiration for other people, but when you make it your own, so when you know like how you want to organize it, what type of category you want to build, and what type of properties in a database you want to create, that is truly when Notion shine, and that is truly when you take full advantage of Notion and how to structure your information that you're putting in there. So now that yes, maple story. So now that I show you how I have like my my business, my company knowledge management, my personal one, and the one that we made 2 days ago. I'm gonna actually show you how it works. So the first one, I'm gonna go over to, if for the people that weren't here 2 days ago, this is the template that we made. Um, it was pretty straightforward. 2 databases, as I said, one for tagging and one for taking your notes or capturing your information, so you can later organize it. So over here you had like a tag. You open the tag, and then you had a template over here that I created. That when you click the template, it would add the notes database over here and filter it to the specific tag. Sorry, let me get some water. And here you can see like how many notes there was and etc. And also in the notes database, it was pretty straightforward. You can pin the note, add a tag to it, the type of note that it was, the status, archive, and then um, take your note, the information below. And this was very straightforward. Now, I'm going to show you my personal knowledge management, which is this one. And like I said, I am a big fan of Maple Story. So for the ones that are here and know about the game, hello. uh, Let me know if you played it and which server you played at it. So so for my personal knowledge management, like I said, I use gamification. So I went to build it as playful for me. So I took it like as a game. So learning for me was a game. So here I have a couple of databases. The first one was Leveling Up, which are like the tag. So what are the categories or what are the subjects that I'm learning? And over here you can see the same database, but in this instance, it's being filtered by um, the subjects that I'm currently focused on. So how do I choose this? So if I go here to the level up page, I have my database in a table view, and let's say I want to learn psychology. What I do is I measure if I really want to learn it or not. So, for example, if the effort is high, the impact is high, and it's urgent, something I need, I just click it here, and automatically it will do it. Let's do it. So, let's say that I'm currently learning micro interaction, but um, the impact is really low and it's not really urgent. So, it's gonna go below. So that's how I I filter what are the subjects I want to learn, and based on the effort and impact, urgent if important, I will do a formula and it will tell me if I should do it or maybe later, if it's cool, but maybe in the future. And the other one I think is like nah, the last one. And this is how, based on this, if I go back to my learner space over here, these are like the main subjects that I'm currently working on, that I currently want to learn. And then on the right side, I have my course database, which are the courses that I'm taking to level up my skills over here, my categories. So, for example, I can take like a Figma course, and then over here add all my information, which I can also create spaces for this. So, and the reason that I like Notion is you can actually make your space very pretty. So, for example, here I can see only the current course that I'm taking. But if I go to this page, which is called Free Market for people that know Um, People that know the game Maple Story will know what a free market is. It's where you buy and sell items. So over here, I have like my active courses, and then below I have like all my courses. And here you can see the courses like all in a gallery view. If I switch to another one over here, I can see it in a Kanban board by the status if they're active, completed, drop, owned but I didn't start, pause, and take it again. And over here, the last one is I call it the 2x XP because it's related to the game review story. So here are all the notes I take and depending on what scale. So for example, I added like a form, the different form of using Notion. I added to the scale, how to make like a loop over here, like for After Effects. And I add like like for example, this is when I was studying After Effects, I wanted to learn how to create like a loop in After Effects. So I just looked at a video and I created like the steps on how to do that. So now every time that I want to create like a loop in After Effects, if I forget how to do it, I can just come back here in my learning space, click the After Effects category, and then see all the things that I have for After Effects. So, for example, how to make a loom, how to trim path, green screen, which is also when I was learning, I wanted to learn how to do that. So here you can see how creating different databases and linking it together is useful, and how I structure my personal knowledge management. So again, based on MapleStory, I created this section over here, and this is only like my first section. So this is like when I come here, I only see like what I want to focus and the courses. So I try to be as minimalistic as possible, even though this for me is a lot, but it just gives me two options. If I can go to the scale and look for a broader information or the courses. Uh, and over here, just a quote because I like to add like quotes to my Notion workspace just to pump me up. And this one is my favorite one. It's from a book called The Third Door, which says, luck is like a bus. If you miss one, there's always a next one. But if you're not prepared, you won't be able to jump on it. So it means like you should keep, for me, it means like you should keep trying to improve yourself because you can get lucky. But if you're not prepared, you won't be able to take advantage of that luck. And so if we go down over here, I have the same database, which is this one. So the level up, the categories one, the tags. And over here, I can see everything. I can see everything, all the subject and how I structure them. So for example, scale, software, subjects, community, programming language, and hardware. So this is very catered to me. So maybe other people might not find like community useful or programming because they have programming in the subject or so forth. So you can make your own categorization and how you want to categorize your knowledge management. And lastly, I have like over here, I have like another database just for random um, websites that I like. So I used to do a lot of graphic design a couple of years ago. So over here I have like all the um, companies and agencies that I really like just to get inspired. Uh, uh, and just like that. So this is like my personal knowledge management and how I use it. As you can see, it's very custom to me and my needs. And what I encourage people to do is think about how they want to structure their personal knowledge management, how do you want to categorize, if you want to add um, gamification, or I don't know, do like a Harry Potter theme, or another type of TV show or movie that you like, just to entertain yourself while you learn. Go ahead. So this is my, so now that I show you my personal knowledge management, I'm gonna show you my the one from my company. And the one from my company is not so much, it doesn't have a lot of design because I wanted to make it very straightforward for people. And also I only am using one database for my knowledge management for my company. But I wanted to make it as easy for people. So one of the things that I always do when I create a Notion workspace, even though I'm gonna be using it, is create like guides. So over here, if I open this, I will have like a couple of guides on how to use this specific space for people. So if someone comes new into my workspace and they look at this over here and they don't know what it is, they can go over here and I will explain the guide, and also over here, uh, a couple of um, quick tips on how to look the information. So for me, what I like to do, I like to use a lot of colors and a lot of icons. So for example, the databases over here, each database have a specific icon. So this means that the database view is filtered to the company so everyone can see it. Um, this um, person icon is it means that the database view is filtered to me. So the person that's viewing the information is related to them. And the other one is just to ignore, to don't touch, because that's the view that I manage all the databases, all the settings. And then inside, you will see a couple of docs, inside and related topics. And then over here, what's the status of this topic or document. So the green means is updated. The yellow one, it means it's work in progress. The red means it has to be reviewed, and this one is just an automation that I built in my company knowledge management. So over here you have like the topics that I want to stay on the top for people to see. And the first one is just how to communicate. And the second one, again, is like if you're gonna be using my workspace, um, you should learn like a couple of icons and how to get around my workspace, because I have this system of iconography around all my workspace and also the colors. So it's pretty standard that I let people read this doc before they go into my workspace, because they will start to understand what all the emojis and all the colors means. And this is just for people to make use of it. So then over here I have my topics and docs. So um, like I said, I'm using only one single database, and over here I have like a topic, and then when you go inside this topic section over here, you will find all the related documents related to this topic. And I'm using like a relation property, but I'm relating the database to itself. So I have like parent and sub tasks and sub items. And that's how I'm organizing my knowledge management into one single database. So I'm using the same database to add a topic, and then add another sub item, which could be like a SOP, wiki, policy, and other things. And here you can see how I structure it. So I add like main groups, main topics. So for company, frameworks that I'm learning, marketing, Notion, and others. All right. And I also have another section in my company, because I like to document um, my tools differently. So this is only for like more documentation related for work and other methodology and other things that people are learning. And then I have one specific just for tools. And this is I like it. I have to want to keep it separate because it's much easier for people to find out. Go here when they're working on something. So, for example, I have my database of tools over here, and this database is linked to the wiki. So over here, I have like other documents related to this tool. So for example, if I come here and I have to set up a project that's related to my needs, so I document how I work with different type of clients in Notion, the different services, and I just document here. So if someone comes in into my business and they need to take over, they just can come here and see everything. And one thing about that you should be mindful is the properties that you're creating in databases, and what value are they gonna bring to you. So as you can see, as you can see in my personal knowledge management, I have different properties that in my companies because they serve different needs. I need to filter the information in my company different. One to work more with more people, and it's more straightforward. And then in my personal one, I just go crazy with it because it's my need and I cater it to my needs. So, for example, this one, my tools database, there's a couple of things that I wanted to track. So, for example, what tools I was using, um, how many seats, how many seats. Oh wait, this is not a good example. Maybe the Slack one. How many seats were people using, and based on the seats and price, I did a formula to define how much I'm paying a month and how much I'm paying a week. Wait, 1 minute. Sorry about that. So I created these properties specifically for these needs. Another one is like what type of um, oh my god, like type of subscription I have. Like it is monthly, lifetime, free, etc. And a couple of other things. Okay, I think I'm better now. Thank you.
Yeah, Roxana, no worries if you want. We
All
can
right.
wait for a couple of seconds. You can take a break and then we can resume. No worries there.
All right. So for this one, what I was saying, like the properties that you put in your database are very useful because with these properties, then you can actually make use of the information that you're putting in. So, for example, here at my tools and SOPs, what I do is I have a space really below over here that, based on the information and the properties that I have, I can make the different database views and then see the information differently. For example, this is the same database tool, database tools database, but in this view, I'm using like a Kanban board and I'm grouping it by the people. So quickly I can see like how many tools people are using in the company. And when I onboard someone or someone is offboarding, I can quickly see which tool I have to deactivate. And this is based on the properties that I created because I was thinking I want to organize it this way. Another view that I did based on the properties that I created in this tools database is the price. So, for example, over here, I have the same database, but this time I'm using like another Kanban board, but I'm grouping it not based on the people that have access to the tool, but the type of subscription. So over here, then I can see how many tools I have to pay every month, how many tools I have to pay yearly, which are lifetime deals, free, and then subscription bundles. So you can see that I can have like a lot of information from all these properties that I'm using here. And I can make use of the features in Notion, so creating different database views and filtering the information only on my needs. And so this is like just a small sample on the different types of knowledge management that you can do. So we started with the example of the note taken that I did 2 days ago. We went to the one from my personal knowledge management and how I customize it to my needs based on a video game that I really liked. I changed all the database names and I made the property specific for my needs. Then we went to how I have my information for my company, how I structure it based on topics and docs, and then my tools database. So all of this, you can say there are different type of knowledge management. And what I like to just leave you with, is that in Notion is very good. That it's very good uh, tool because you can create your own system. Yes, you can take inspiration for other people, um, but over time, it's better that when you start using Notion, you start to understand. Actually, take the time to review the properties that you're using and how you're using the database filters and views, because that's gonna help you to review your information. So to actually make use of it. And that's about it. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Roxana. Maybe let's take the questions that we have in the Q&A. And others, feel free to add your questions to the Q&A. So for now, we will start taking up the ones that we have already received. And let's start with the first one. This one is from Ege. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And the question is, do you use template plus button feature for knowledge management? If yes, I'm curious how, like having a template for online courses or learning new concepts to improve effectiveness or active learning.
Um, Not really. I use a lot of templates. So, for example, over here, I use a lot of template, but not a lot of buttons because I haven't had the time to update my system. Because one of the things that I do is I don't like to change a lot, so I don't like to tinker around my workspace. I only do it when I have like a really big pain point, and it drives me nuts that I take the time to actually see what's causing it and how to change it. Um, but yeah, I think buttons would be a nice addition to my workspace, but I haven't had the time to actually implement it and use it. But I use a lot of templates inside the databases. That's something that it saves me a lot of time and something that I do constantly, very, very thorough. For example, in my company wiki, my knowledge management, I have like different templates for example, a new topic, a doc, SOPs, etc. So, for example, when I click over here in my SOP, which is a standard operating procedure, it automatically has like a structure on how I should write my SOP. Like, what is the purpose? What is scope? a couple of words that people might not know, and what are the steps to this SOP. So I heavily rely on templates in my workspace, but I haven't had the time to actually use button, which I should do.
Okay, let's go to the next one then. The next one is, could you share the formulas of the property, including the impact effort in your level up database?
I could. Let me see. I'm not sure if you can. I could make like a small template of it, but it's pretty simple. Actually, I did this for these formulas, like a couple of months when I started using Notion, and I haven't looked back to update them. So I'm sure that this could be updated somehow, but this is the one that I started with, and I haven't had like the need to update it. Like I said, that pain point to actually update the system, because this was for me. I just hide the property, and I just use this to measure what subject I want to learn, and it's very straightforward. It's very simple. It's just taken over here these properties, and it's putting like a number on it, a weight, and based on the weight, it's telling me this type of status. But if you want, I can make a template and give it away, but it's very basic, so I will probably update it if I actually share it with someone, or update my knowledge management a little bit.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to the next one. The next one is from Philip. How do you balance building your system versus actually using it?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because sometimes like I see like a lot of people update their system constantly. For me, like I said, as you can see in my learning space, I built it like 2 years ago, and I haven't updated my formulas, because I'm the type of person that if I don't, if it's not creating like a friction, I don't update anything, because that's just a waste of time in my opinion. So I'm not like the type of person that spends a lot of time updating my workspace. I just take like a specific time when I have to review my workspace, and if there's a need to update it, I do it. But if there isn't, I just don't.
Okay, thank you. Let's go to the next one. This is, how do you filter out resources in your database that you feel you might not need anymore?
That's a good question. The truth, if I don't actually, I can build like a checkbox and name an archive, and then filter it through that, like archive all the docs that are checkmarked with that. But the truth, if I don't actually filter out any of the information, because they are structured in a way that it's easily organized, so I don't get overwhelmed from all the information I'm seeing, because I can go to a specific topic and then see all the information relevant. So the information is not disorganized. It's very organized, that I can quickly find the thing that I need, and the one that I don't need, I would probably just delete it.
Okay, so this is a follow-up question by Egi. Shouldn't be a system easy to modify and adaptable? I believe it is one of the reasons to have built a system in the first place. I might be approaching subjective, so would like to learn your perspective too.
Yeah, it really is. It really is case by case. Like, yes, you should adapt your system, but you shouldn't adapt it just for the fun of it. Like, just because a new feature Notion release, and based on that future you're gonna update all your Notion, your workspace. That shouldn't be the case. Like if something new comes in and you actually see the value of it, that it will add value to your workspace or add value to the way you work, then I would update my system. But the reason I don't do that is because my system works already good. Like I have spent in the beginning quite a lot of time setting it up in a way that it's easy for me, and since then I haven't had like that those pain points to actually upgrade it. There have been a couple of instances where I something was bothering me that I went into the time and updated a couple of things, but it's not something that I regularly do like every week or every day, because then you're not gonna be using the system. You're just gonna be playing around with it, and you're not gonna be actually take value of it. I think for me, I'm not the type of person that likes to play around with tools. I just want the tool to do the job for me. Like I don't want to spend a lot of time playing and organizing. I just want to use it and go on with my day.
Okay, thank you, Roxana. Although this is something that we've already covered, but this is a common question that I can see. So maybe if you want to show them how to create a quick database.
Sure, sure. So it's really nice that my presentation is in Notion. So it's really easy. So you just type the slash command over here, and over here you see all the blocks that you have in Notion that you can add to this page. And you just type database. And like database over here, you click it and it creates a database. And then you click here the plus icon, which gives you the ability to add more properties into the database. So this is the part I really like about Notion, and the part I always highlight when creating databases or workspaces is that you should really be mindful of the type of properties that you're going to be adding to the database, and also just ask yourself, why are you creating this property? Because if you're not going to be making use of it with filters in your database, maybe you don't need it. There's another question.
Okay, yeah. Let's go to the next one then. Okay. This is from Mary. The question being, do you recommend having a separate Notion for learning and hobbies versus a professional Notion website for portfolio and resume for your job applications?
Not really. You can have pretty much everything in your Notion workspace. So, for example, for your learning and hobby, it could be like a page that you add in over here, and your Notion website could be another page, and your portfolio resume. So, no, I want to separate the information. So, I would keep everything to myself. If you're like a big company,
Mhm.
let's say you have like 50 people or 100, then maybe I would suggest keeping your personal information into another workspace and then your regular one. But since my company is very little, so I only have like my brother, and sometimes other people help me with my company, so it's like very small. I like keep everything together, but I just filter, I just hide it from the other people. I just create a new team space that's only available for me, and that's that.
Okay, thank you, Roxana. That was all for the Q&A. And just like the last one, this was a great session. Any last words before we wrap up the series?
Yes, just to I think to one thing is to always keep learning. So having a personal knowledge management is also very good. Like um, building a system for you to retrieve the information and they make use of it for projects and related things in your life is really good. So you should take advantage of tools like Notion. And if you missed one of the session previously, in the presentation that I left you, you can come here and see all the other sessions that people uh, did, and just make use of this session and learn how to use Notion. Databases are really powerful. Don't use single pages, please, for anything. For stuff like knowledge management, use always databases, and yeah, have fun. I think your personal database knowledge management should be like a space for you to relax yourself and actually enjoy learning.
Okay, thanks a lot, Roxana, and congratulations everyone for being a part of this original series. All the participants will be receiving their graduation certificates next week, along with all the resources. Till then, if you missed out on anything, any session, any template, etc., feel free to check out the recordings. In the recordings, you will also be able to access the chats and then see the templates that we had shared up in the chat. We will also be organizing follow up sessions where you can get up close and personal with the speakers, and you can get your burning questions answered up there. So, if any of your question was left unanswered, or if you're planning to try your hands on Notion, if you stumble up anywhere, be on the lookout for the mails and you can join up the upcoming sessions to rank up in Notion. Lastly, keep learning every day and keep aspiring to be more. See you soon in the next ones. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.